Okay. We are live, I think. Tells me the setup is all going on, but I think we're live. Yeah, we're live. All right. Okay. Hello, everyone. I don't know if people can hear me, but I'm just going to bring the microphone quite close to my face. How are you? Welcome to the Great Awakening Generator and a surprise live transmission with Monk Manobhi Ramdas. I hope I said it right. Monk Manobhi Ramadas. How are you? How are you, Manobhi?
I'm doing very well.
Yeah.
I'm happily going about my day, doing my various practices, sharing what I have learned along the way with others. So yeah, this is what keeps me going. This is what inspires me. Being able to do what you enjoy, what you love, so to speak, what makes you feel satisfied, and also share that with others, give them the tools so they can do the same. So
yeah, absolutely. What's the point of learning something and keeping it only to yourself, right?
Exactly. So it's been an 11 out of 10 day.
Wow, that's awesome. I haven't heard that in a long time. An 11 out of 10. Or I've only ever heard it once before, but that's great.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I've only ever heard it once before. So it's good to see you, and you're looking well, and I like your male. I can see your male.
Thank you. Flashing it, flaunting it.
Yeah, I know. It's nice to have the male. I love the male. They're just amazing, right?
Yeah.
So I know that we're talking today and you're going to share something with us and maybe a tip. And I'm glad that you went into the state of you and how you're keeping yourself really, in a good way. What I'm just checking something online to make sure. So I'm not being rude and ignoring you when I do this, because I know they can be very distracting, but I just want to check us. Yeah, we're live. We're doing it. Yes. So we've got, it always tells me there's one watching, and I don't know who that means. Maybe it means me because I went on there. And that's okay, because if anybody comes on, and we generally get to know the real numbers of people watching after we've done the live transmission. So if anybody's watching, thank you so much. Hey, put comments in the description box or in the comments field. Ask the monk something. He is a being of wisdom. So, you can't not be a being of wisdom if you've chosen to be a monk. And that's what I think. Not that I expect all the wisdom, but it's the journey to all the wisdom, but some of the wisdom. Yes, so I like that you started off with talking about, you're well and you're doing what you're doing, and navigating times like this. It's very important right now, isn't it?
Definitely.
Wow.
Yeah, we're living in interesting times. Yeah. Well, I don't watch the news personally, but I do hear what's been on the news recently, and yeah, it's definitely an interesting world that we're living in.
Yeah.
Why don't you
go on? Sorry.
Okay. I was just saying, we hope our hearts go out to all the people who are being affected by all these various issues that are going on.
Yes, indeed. There's wars at the moment. There's more than one. There's always been more than one war. There's just the focus has been on, say, a particular war at a time, right? So it's just started up now in a place where there has been war on and off for many years. And I have an interesting question. I think it's an interesting question, or the answer is going to be interesting. Why don't you watch the news?
I don't know what's the news. Well, surprisingly, there are two reasons.
Okay.
One was inspired by someone who was not necessarily spiritual, but he is like a success mentor.
Yes.
He is a person who focuses on self-development. His name's Darren Hardy. He wrote a book called The Compound Effect. He's just a very successful person. He explains how basically whatever you expose yourself to, whether it be on the news, whether it be certain people that you hang out with, certain foods, certain frequencies, it affects you. And if you have this is common sense, but the thing is, if you have a mission, you have a mission to become a better person, to bring light into the world, there isn't much room for you to allow darkness into your life, whether it be consciously or unconsciously. So again, like the news, if we're honest, if we're frank, it doesn't necessarily paint the best picture of the world and other people. Very, you could say also that the presentation is very biased.
Exactly.
It's hard to really know whether you're getting the truth.
That's
So
right.
someone told me, like, simply for the purpose of keeping up to date as to what's going on, you can check the news like you check the weather.
Just look at the temperatures and say, right, bye.
Yeah, basically, just so you're not completely out of the loop. So
Yeah.
that's really the main reason. And yeah, personally, I chose to stop watching the news from an age before a young age before I became a monk, and also
Right.
minimize my time watching television as well, because I wanted to be able to think for myself.
That's right.
And yeah. I'd rather be learning and receiving information which is helpful for my journey.
That's right. It's become very individualistic. I think that the journey right now in life, whilst we are expected to look after the collective, but also for us ourselves. And also, if you think about it, if we are going to be looking at the news and not being sure or certain about what's coming out, then the work we're doing, because we're all of us doing energy work of some kind, especially here on the Great Awakening Generator, the guests that come here, the hosts that come here, then it sort of deters that, because you're going to be caught up in that. Then where's the mind space for really hearing the voice within, and we must be wise about what we take in, because it's a taking in. It's like when we hear things or see things, even the body has a reaction to it, not just the mind. The mind will have a reaction in that it has a picture of it. The body will hold the reaction, and then leads to other things, in terms of the cells and the health of the body, and fear and worry, because those fear and worry are things we actually feel within us. It's not something it's not just about the mind, it's about the body as well, right? So I think we have to keep ourselves clean and clear of such things. So I like that. I like what you're saying there. I think that's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, and another thing that comes to mind is that so much of what goes on in the world today, we can't actually control. We can't actually change. What we can change, as I'm sure you already know, and a lot of your listeners knows, ourselves, our own way of thinking, our own consciousness. So yeah, it's a matter of placing focus where it actually matters and where it can be of use.
That's right. Energy flows where your attention goes, or attention. Yeah, that's right. Energy flows where your attention goes. And if you're going to focus on things, we have to focus on things that are good for ourselves, peaceful, and, balance. So I really like that. So tell me then, what are we talking about today? Because I was really like, oh, okay, the frequency of this, I had intended, because I won't be around for about a week and a half. I was thinking we probably should do some recordings so that we can post them. And then you said, do you want to do a live on Saturday? And I was like, oh yeah, I'm all for that. So this is a bonus for us, you realize, right? You doing a live with us today when it wasn't planned. I couldn't say no to something like this that was not planned,
It's good to have a bit of spontaneity in life.
I love it. Yeah. Yeah.
But and also it's Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, today, because we were carrying on with the theme of mindfulness.
Yes.
And you had asked me to share various mindful practices. So I believe in the first one that was aired, I taught pranayama.
Yes.
Breathing. And then the second one, which we had recorded, that was based around mantra meditation.
Yes.
So yeah, I was thinking about this idea of mindfulness and how it's so necessary in the world today.
Yes.
Because the mind has two, I guess, tendencies. One is to flick back to the past, just think about the past, dwell on things that have happened, that have gone wrong. And if not trained properly, it can stay there for a while. Or conversely, a person can just get an anxiety about the future, which is never certain in any case. And again, it's something out of our control. The past is gone. The future hasn't happened. all we can really do is work with the now.
Yeah.
So I was thinking a bit more about it, and actually there are quite a few simple practices, but I guess based off the way we started our conversation, our discussion, both before the session and at the very beginning of the session, I think it might be good to do, I guess, to do an exercise by which we can, rather than note all the bad things that are happening around us, all the bad things that may, or unexpected things that are going on in our life, which are uncomfortable, maybe focus more on the beauty of the world, which is there, no doubt, although it may be obscured, maybe sometimes hidden, or we may not be able to see it so clearly sometimes, but the beauty of the world is always there. And I actually had picked up this particular, I guess you could call it a mindfulness exercise or a gratitude exercise, from a senior monk who'd been practicing the lifestyle that I've been practicing for at least 4 times longer than me. So, and he's got he's quite prolific in terms of his video output. He's quite active on YouTube. He's quite an inspiration for me.
Yeah.
His name is S.B. Keshava Swami.
Okay.
So for those of you who are interested in seeing more about what our monks do, I'd recommend looking him up on YouTube.
Yeah.
But yeah, he gave this particular exercise, which I thought was helpful for me at the time. Maybe I could share if you're fine with that.
Absolutely. And we can always share a link if you want to send me the particular one that brings to your mind. We can always share it in the description box. Yeah.
No problem. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're happy, I can just start. It's very simple, actually.
Okay.
And
yes.
Again, I've been trying to think of exercises which anybody can do. It doesn't matter where you are, doesn't matter who you are, what age, something that's practical and can actually just within the moment help us to change our perspective and come more back to the now.
All right. That's really good. I want to ask a question before we start this. Is there chanting? Is there sounds? Is there toning in it?
This one is just, it's more focusing the mind on, I think I might have to get into it to show you. It's more of a thinking exercise. Yeah.
The only thing why I'm asking is I want to suggest you put yourself on musician's mode in Zoom, so that if you're going to do that, the chanting comes through. And I'll put myself on musician's mode as well, so that it comes through. All right. So we just want everybody to get the best of it, in case.
No problem.
Okay, that's all.
This one won't have any chanting today, but maybe there will be another one in the next session that we do.
Okay, great.
Cool.
You're on.
Okay, no problem. So again, the theme of this particular exercise is beauty, focusing on the beauty within the world. And in this exercise, the first thing that we want to do is to think of a beautiful person within our life, and not just in terms of looks, because in one sense, people may say beauty is in that way is just skin deep, but in terms of who they are, the positivity that they've brought to your life, the qualities and the characteristics that they may possess. So you can take this opportunity to close your eyes if it makes it easier, and just try and think about someone who is beautiful to you in that way, someone who has made the world a better place in your eyes, who has made your life better. Maybe we could make this interactive for you, Rose. Who is that person to you?
It's my friend who's been around for the last 3 years. It's just really been supportive to me. I've had I've had a lot happening. This person has been through everything, and I find I can, if I'm suddenly needing something, and if I say this is what's happening, even if it's not a way to help me in a material sense, but just everything will be okay, Rose. And it's fine. I just feel when I am around this person, I just feel this warmth, and I feel looked after. I feel the energy of we're all good. I feel like I'm not alone in with whatever's been going on in my world in the last 3 years. So really, they're really helpful. Really jumps up to sort of support me. Like this week, for example, I was away from the house doing this project I mentioned earlier when we weren't live, and on Thursday he came and sat with the dog for a few hours because I'm worried that I'm leaving the dog alone for too long. The dog is very well behaved, but I just, so he was happy to come and sit with the dog and just spend time with the dog and give him his dinner when the time was ready because I wasn't going to be home on time for dinner. Just stuff like that. Just the supportive, loving kindness that I have from this person.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I guess the exercise has worked so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, just thinking about these people in our lives makes us feel better, gives us hope,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
inspiration. Yeah, for me, I was thinking about my mother, actually. She was the first one who came to mind.
Okay.
And she's just someone who's through thick and thin been with me, been supportive no matter what venture I took up, from when I was into the hip hop dance scene to a monk. Yeah, she
Yes.
stuck with me. And yeah, I was just thinking about how selfless she's been, how sacrificial she's been for not only myself but my sibling, my younger sister.
Yeah.
And she still keeps going. She's still open. She's still there.
Yeah.
Whenever I need her, even though I may have become more independent, still she's there, and she's there to support me, and no matter what I do, no matter what
Yeah.
my struggles are. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's said that actually the love between a child and their mother, and vice versa, is actually considered the closest thing to pure love in this world.
I think that is absolutely true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you would know better than me being a mother. So,
I do know that it's a very different relationship, like
mm,
I said earlier, my daughter's going through a journey at the moment, and I'm away because of my bond with my daughter.
mm,
I
mm,
can't let her go through that
mm,
without me being there. I'm the reason she's going through this because whatever's happening is a connection to me,
mm,
and so I need to be there to support her.
mm.
And it's a strange time because it was a thing we hardly expected to be doing, but yet we are doing it. And I could not think of her going away without me, and that I could stay here and it would all go well. And that's the thing. You're right about the pureness of the bond between mother and child. And you know, it's yeah, it's an interesting. My daughter is always the first person to come to me when you ask such a question. However, today I deliberately chose not to bring her into it because that's an obvious one.
Mm, mm,
But for us to be able to do what we're doing at the moment and live our lives, there are people. The reason I chose my friend was there's
mm,
other people who go outside the box. They have no
mm,
investment in it. Like then, it's not a husband. It's not a romantic relationship. It's a friend.
mm.
And you think about that. That's something, right? When somebody does that for you, that's a unique being when they
Yes,
do
yes.
that. Yeah, yeah.
It's a
So
very good point.
they are unique when somebody who's not related to you in any biology or all of that, and you haven't known them for years and years and years and years, and then they reach out to you and they are there and they make you feel better and just supportive. That's golden.
Mm. Says a lot about the person.
Does.
Mm.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Hopefully we can be more like that for others as well.
this is it. This is
Yeah.
it. Are we able to do that? I have
Mm.
been able to do that in my life. Throughout my life, that has always been my stance, and now I'm on the receiving end of it.
Mm.
And it's interesting those people that do it all the time, how they sort of initially shy away from receiving it because
Mm.
we're like, oh, okay, no, I'm not used to that. It takes a
Mm.
while to get used to it as well, to say, yeah,
Mm.
okay,
Mm.
someone's being unconditional with me. They extending unconditional love because that is unconditional love, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And it's very much like the love of a mother and a child because mothers mostly, most mothers love their children unconditionally. They do anything for their
Mm.
child. So, yeah. But I think individually, like you were talking about your mom, I think
Mhm.
you know what your mom's done for you. You know the details of the situations that you've gone through and she's gone through and how she's been there.
Mhm.
And this, when this is happening, when you have somebody like that in your life, um, there's no value you can put to that, because you think about the individual experiences, and I'm sure for you, like your mom supporting you like she has, you've taken a pathway, you've gone down a pathway that is not traditionally what a Kiwi boy would be doing or young man would be doing. It's different.
Mm.
That that is something that some parents would say, I want to have not anything to do with that.
Yes.
I don't understand it.
Mm. Yeah, it's very true.
Yeah.
That's why I, yeah, definitely appreciate her continued support,
Mm.
because it's one thing to support someone when you can kind of understand where they're coming from. It's another thing to continue to support them when you may not understand where they're coming from, or it differs to, I guess, the expected way of living,
Yeah.
from the mainstream society
Yeah.
perspective. Because to a more or lesser degree, everybody is influenced by the mainstream society perspective of how to live life.
Yeah.
Generally, you get educated, you go to work, you start a family, and again, you can do all this as a spiritual person as well. There's not,
Yes.
it's not like to be spiritual, you have to give all those things up. But yeah, it's true what you're saying. When I became a monk, actually, I was, yeah, she admittedly, she was a little bit shocked. What's going on? This is a massive life change, like a completely different, like a 180 compared to where you look like you were going.
Yeah.
But yeah, she still found it within herself to, just accept and continue supporting. So for that reason, yeah, I find the relationship to be quite special, because there
Yeah.
have been others within the community that I'm a part of who haven't had that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
their parents, had particular expectations of them, and then when they chose a similar path to myself, then the parents kind of didn't want anything to do with their kids
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
So is that real love? Is that unconditional love?
It's conditional.
It's conditional, and it's very hard when it's coming from, when you can see that in your parents,
Mm.
people who you've been close with your whole life. So yeah,
I think conditional comes from expectation and
yeah,
seeing life in a programmed way. This is how it was. Or I'll use an example. A man who says, "I'm a doctor. My son needs to is going to be a doctor." And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with somebody being a doctor because their father was a doctor. But what about that son that doesn't want to be the doctor? What about that
mm,
son that says, I don't feel the calling to that? And quite often you'll
mm,
find people don't understand how their child's not responding to the call. I feel like it's all about journey. And I feel like we must honor today, it's very important we honor the beings that are here for us. Like your mom is obviously purposed for. She's coming from a higher place. She
mm,
probably didn't realize that she had that within her when it all started.
mm.
But yeah, all of this is to bring us to ourselves, is to journey to who we truly are in this time and space.
Yes, yes, yes. I like how we've been gone on this little tangent. It's quite down to earth. It's quite real.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Yes. And it's important. Like, I will say something about talking about the higher being and honoring the being. So I'm about to embark on something that I ran away from 35 years ago. And I didn't run away as in a bad person or anything like that.
Mm,
I left that life and I moved on, and I was a single mom and I brought my daughter up. And I'm about to go back to the life to the people that I would have had in my life for 35 years that are not done that because it's her father, it's his family, all of that. And as I was doing my light language earlier, because I was getting stuff ready, like cleaning the kitchen, and I was doing some light language, I could see that I needed to honor the soul that is her father. My part in this, whilst I'm going to support my daughter, I need to honor the soul that is her father,
mm.
and or that has come with her father to present itself with her father. So I don't know how we go when we get there, but I am being told my purpose in this is not just about supporting my daughter. My purpose in this is about other things too.
Mm,
And we can honor the soul by just being loving and caring and accepting and not being angry and understanding that that's the soul's journey and it chose to come and it chose to be whatever that was. There was lots of
mm,
good, there was also lots of not so good, but time for, as I said earlier, clear the karma.
mm, mm.
uh, wow.
Yeah.
And souls are leaving at the moment. They're
Mm,
requiring us to tie the knots.
mm,
Or no, they're requiring us to release the knots, not tie them up, because they
mm,
need freedom to go and be and take the incarnation of the next life.
mm.
So I don't know. That was a different tangent altogether. I know what I just said there.
Mhm. Yeah, we going in all sorts of directions today. It's
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. And I think right now, I've been speaking to many people. They're complaining about being really unwell. They're complaining about things happening suddenly to them.
Mm,
And we are getting a lot of light from the universe at the moment. I believe this because I don't know, like I've had 2 days where I've just been feeling rather woozy. By saying also because of the light, the light that is coming down from the universe and from higher realms, our bodies are struggling to cope with it because, it's a third dimensional vessel, isn't it? Or it's a physical vessel, not a, not
mm,
a, like a higher being vessel.
mm,
And so we have to be easy with ourselves. And that's why it's manifesting like in sickness sometimes. When someone's going through a transition, it's manifesting like in sickness, and we think it's sickness and it's not good. But how about, and this is my lesson for the last 6 weeks, this has been coming to me. How about having equal value in being unwell as you would have in being well? How about giving
mm,
it the same level of love?
mm, mm, mm.
Because
It's
when we
definitely,
go on.
I was just going to say that's a good point, but I'll let you finish your train of
Yeah.
thought.
But because when we say it's bad to be unwell and it's good to be well, we're
Mm,
creating dissension in that. We're saying one or the other. But if we
mm,
say equal value, I'm still okay. My being, my intuition, my my spirit is still well. It's the spirit is not sick. The body is sick. And I'm still going
mm,
to say it is good to be alive. um, you know, this is a good day, it's been given by God, all of those things. And look, I don't say that's easy. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying I've been there, I've done it. And when my guides have kind of, my intuition has, said it to me, I've like sworn them and said, go away, like stop talking to me like that because you don't know what this feels like. But I
mm,
feel like we need to give equal value and say everything is well with my soul. It is well with my soul. This is a Christian scripture. It is
mm,
well with my soul. It is well with my soul. And whilst I don't
mm,
mean to make it Christian, I'm just saying this is what I finally get what it means. It is well with my soul. Even when it's
mm,
not well with your physical, but it's well with your soul.
mm. Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. That's, yeah, I just thought that. I just thought, yeah. So what were you going to say? Sorry, I interrupted.
No, no, no. I was just saying that's a good point, and yeah, it's actually a perspective that's also shared from the yoga texts, specifically the Bhagavad Gita. It explains that whether through happiness or distress, a person should learn not to be disturbed. Because these things they come and go like the winter and summer seasons. Just as like winter comes, people just tolerate it. Just as summer comes, the heat comes, people tolerate it. We need to learn to be tolerant with our, you know, physical circumstances, whether it's good or bad. As you said, seeing them in the same light.
Yeah.
But both, if seen in the right perspective, can give a person the opportunity and inspiration to grow, to become more connected to the spirit, the eternal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Definitely.
Anyway, yes, that's a
Yeah.
good point. Wow, you're very wise.
Oh, only sometimes. Um, so I was going to ask, I really like what that mindfulness practice was. And I've been trying to do that this week too, where I just sit and be, be quiet and close my eyes and just breathe and just tune in. But I haven't brought in somebody I really, like you were saying, someone that you brought in you thought of your mum, I thought of my friend.
Mm,
But I think that's such a good tip to have to do that, because
mm,
if you think about someone, whether they're very close to you or not, but somebody wonderful, you know, not a star you haven't met yet, not one of those pop stars or anything that you haven't met
mm.
yet, but somebody in your world that is close to you,
Yeah,
because there always is someone, isn't there?
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, but sometimes we can just take these people for granted as well.
this is
People.
it.
So many people are doing so much for us actually, whether it be throughout our lives, whether it be just for a day.
I
Actually
agree.
we're being helped and so much. It's good to be grateful. I guess that's one of the points. And actually, there are like two other parts of that exercise. I guess you could do if infinite different varieties of this exercise, but you could think about you could think about a beautiful place that you've been, a place that makes you feel happy, satisfied, whole, serene. So
Yes,
for, yeah,
yes,
you
indeed.
could think about a beautiful experience as well
Hmm.
that's happened in your life, and yeah, think about why it was beautiful as well.
Yeah,
Think about what
exactly.
made it beautiful. See if you can bring that beauty to all aspects of your life.
Yeah, yeah.
Because yeah, we live in a world which is the way you see the world depends on your consciousness, your perspective. So whether it with if your consciousness isn't right, then your perception of the world will be that it's like a bad place. It's full of darkness. So much wrong with it.
Yeah.
But if your perspective is right, if you take the higher perspective, then you can see the world, everything that happens in it, good and bad, as having a divine purpose.
Yes.
And obviously, as you said, that's difficult to do. But by having that, you can be completely comfortable and satisfied that everybody eventually, some way, somehow on their spiritual journey through this world, whether it be this life, the next life, or another life, is eventually going to find their own true bliss, their own true happiness.
Yes. Yes.
So
Mm.
yeah, every experience teaches us something, and if we're open to learning, then that lesson will help us come closer to our own spiritual goals. The ultimate destination.
I
Does that
agree.
make sense to you? Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
What I wanted to say about that, just it's making me think. Earlier we talked about watching TV, for example, right, or watching the
Mhm.
news. Now we know that. I always come back to this gospel song I heard years ago. Whose report will you believe? Like,
Mm,
whose report will you believe? And how
mm,
important is it for us to believe the report of others than the one that lies within us?
mm,
And we have to trust that our intuition is the God self within us, and that it will give us the answers we're looking for. Inherently, we are we are here. Inherently we have the answers. We seem to think we don't. It's also like, I mean, if you want to make headway in terms of bringing in mindfulness practices and focusing on the good on this planet, or something beautiful on this planet, or like the beautiful people in our world, like we just did today, right? Then the best thing to do is to focus on that more than focusing on something like watching the news and getting frightened, because fear is a different vibration. Fear and
mm,
worry is a different vibration than balance, peace, calm, love,
mhm,
joy, all those
mm,
things, right? And if we operate from that balanced peace, calm, love, joy platform, what I think it means is, I've learned this, I've experienced this. We can then, move mountains. We can send light to the world where things can start to change, because you don't have to stand up on a podium and preach a message. You don't have to go out there and be this person that now is grabbing all this attention because you have a message. You could just do that wherever you are in the space, like you were showing us.
mm,
In that moment, you could just do that, right?
mm.
You've contributed something to yourself. You've done something for
Yeah.
yourself, but you've also, in doing this for yourself, that light is extending to other places, other people, your neighbor, your friend, your family member, whoever's around you.
Yes.
So, I like that. I really like that
Yeah.
practice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts as well. It's good to hear your wise insights.
Thank you. I like to talk without even realizing it. I just talk and I add to things. I'm sorry. What else? What else did you want to share with us? Or was that the practice for today?
I think, yeah, for now, that would be a good thing to try and implement in your life, Just take some time, even if it's just once a week, to think about the beauty that you can see in your life, whether it be through people, whether it be through places, or whether it be through experiences that you've had,
Yeah.
whether it be what's right in front of you. I'm sitting actually in Alfred Street. It's at the University of Auckland, and I'm just looking down the street, and there's these trees which I guess because it's spring, they've become green again. you know, I'm
Wonderful.
just I'm just seeing like it's like a tunnel,
Yeah.
like a it's just very beautiful. The colors that I'm seeing,
Yeah.
lush green colors and light breeze, blue sky.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I can have great gratitude for being able to be witnessing the beauty of nature, the beauty of this world, and acknowledge the source of all this beauty as well. Which the
Yeah.
divine divinity.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it's just an easy way to change your perspective from whatever it may be, whether negative, neutral to positive.
I
Yeah,
like that. I like
yeah,
that. And I like that you brought nature into it because
yeah.
nature is like this probably the easiest thing you can do, right?
Mm,
Um, just, just walking in nature, looking at the trees, looking at the picture, because I'm looking out the window as well. And there's a lot of things to be that's beautiful. The blue sky, there's cloud, but there's
mm,
blue sky. And we can experience the sunshine today.
mm,
Something that we sort of really started to appreciate this year in Auckland, because we have had little of it compared to what we've had in previous years. So now we really, it's beautiful. It's beautiful to see that everything is turning to green. I've got a cherry tree in the front garden and it's in bloom and it's a fruiting cherry tree, not a flowering only. And I can see all the leaves, all the petals of the flowers all over the garden. But I'm just really happy because I don't mind that I have to sweep that up because I just want to see the natural thing happening, right? And you can see the little cherries coming out. And because it's Auckland, it won't be really big because, Auckland's too warm for it. But who knows? We've had cold weather this year. We might get cherries that we can eat.
yeah. Fingers crossed.
Yes. Fingers crossed. So thank you. Thank you so much for, I think it's so subtle and simple, that message,
Mm.
that
Yeah,
tip.
thank you as well for allowing me to be here live.
Yeah, you're very
Hope the
welcome.
watchers now in the future, they, yeah, they get
Yes,
something from this.
absolutely.
Mm,
Absolutely.
mm,
I love that we could do this. I know that it wasn't planned, but we did it. And I'm so grateful that you are happy to be doing this with me.
mhm.
And I had a vision of how this will go. And I think that it's going as it's meant to be going. And very soon, you never know, it could be just you having a chat with everybody as opposed to not me not being there.
Mm.
And you can have your little series. But I mean, we will know when the time is right. And you will
Yes,
know when the
definitely.
time is right because it must always be what you align with as well. So, we will
Mm.
do this for however long we feel guided to do it.
Yes, thank
Mm.
you.
Thank you. You're such a busy person, I know. And thank you so much for giving us your time. We just so appreciate you here.
Mm,
Mm.
mm.
Great. Okay. Shall we say goodbye to our audience whenever
Okay,
they catch us? Well,
thank you,
everyone,
everybody.
sorry, you go, you go.
I
What
was
were
just
you going
saying
to say?
thank you, everybody who watches this, who is watching this for taking the time out of your day to, be here with us. And yeah, life is beautiful. We just need the eyes to see it.
Yes, yes, yes. We need the eyes to see it. because we've got to see beyond what's in front of us. There's a lot
Yeah.
of beauty beyond anything that's looking not so beautiful.
Mhm.
Thank you so much. And everybody, thank you so much for watching us here on the Great Awakening Generator. We'll catch you in a few weeks' time, or in a couple of weeks' time. We'll catch you here, same time. Well, I don't know if it's same time, maybe with a recording. Who knows? But we'll catch you next time. Thank you, everyone. And we're going to say Hare Krishna. We're going to say Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Bye, everyone.